Hello everyone, welcome to BVLSI Design Lecture number 26B. Today's topic is transistor level implementation of two input NAND gate using dynamic CMOS logic. Okay, so let us implement A dot B the whole bar using dynamics CMOS logic. So what's the first thing to do is, first thing we will implement the pull down network for A dot B using NMOS transistors. Next we will add the MP and MN transistor and we'll apply the clock to the gate terminals. And then we also will add the capacitance CLs at the output. We all know might be knowing the dynamic CMOS logic general structure. So finally your design will look something like this. Let me adjust the width. Yeah. So in totality, your design will look like this. The one marked in the red color dotted box is my pull down network, which consists of two NMOS transistors in series. Connect. Followed by, to the top of your pull down network is your transistor MP, whose source terminal is connected to the VDD, gate terminal is connected to the clock, and the drain terminal is connected to the output, where output we have a capacitor, load capacitor CL present. Okay. At the bottom of the pull down network, we have the MN transistor, whose gate terminal is connected to the clock and the source terminal is connected to the ground. Now, how many transistors are required to implement over here? So N input requires N plus 2 transistors for dynamic CMOS logic. So here we have two inputs. So we'll require N plus 2, that is 4 transistors to implement this. And we have done that using 4 transistors itself. Now, let us look into the working of this circuit in detail. So as we know, when the clock is 0, we are in the pre-charge phase. Okay. So what will happen? Your MN transistor will be off because we have applied a logic 0 to it. Your MP transistor will be on because when we apply a logic 0 to the gate terminal of PMOS, it will turn on. So what will happen? Your capacitor will charge the output node towards VDD. The output node will be charged towards VDD. So your output F will be equal to VDD during the entire period of your pre-charge phase. Okay. So as long as your clock is 0, your output will be remaining at VDD value, irrespective of the values of A and B. Irrespective of the values of inputs in the pull down network, your output will be pulled up towards VDD and remain there until your clock becomes 1. Okay. Now let's go to the evaluation phase. So in the evaluation phase, when the clock is 1, the evaluate transistor is on, that is MN is on, and it will enable the pull down network. Okay. Since clock is 1, this MN transistor is on. At the same time, the MP transistor is off because we are applying a logic 1 to its gate terminal. So it will be off. And whenever a PMOS transistor is off, it will disconnect the output and the VDD. That means the VDD and the output are isolated. They are not connected with each other at all. Then your output node F will be conditionally discharging based on the input values and the pull down topology. That means whatever charge was stored during the pre-charge phase, during the evaluation states, if the pull down network is on and the MN network is on, the output voltage will be discharged towards ground value. Okay. So if the inputs are such that A and B both are logic 1, so that means both the transistors are on, then your capacitor can discharge to the ground via the NMOS transistors with the input A, B, and clock. Okay. Then what will happen? A low resistance part will be created between the output and the ground, and your output node output will be discharged to the ground. Okay. Then there is one very important statement that during the evaluation phase, once the output F is discharged, it cannot be charged again until the next pre-charge operation. This point we will cover now in the waveforms. Okay. Now, to summarize, we have an equation. So F is equal to clock bar plus A dot B bar dot clock. So this orange color expression will keep on varying. Right now we have a 2 input NAND gate. That is why from this one, if clock is equal to 1, then F is equal to A dot B bar. And this is the evaluation phase. And when the clock is equal to 0, F is equal to VDD because clock bar, that means we will have a logic 1, and logic 1 means 5 volts. That is VDD. If VDD is 5 volt, okay, your output will be your logic 1 or equal to VDD during the pre-charge phase, irrespective of the inputs status over here. Okay, so this two or three one equation summarizes the entire working of your dynamic CMOS logic, which is very, very important. Okay, now let us try to understand this functionality with the help of your truth table. So this is the logical truth table. It's always advisable to write it in the form of your voltages. So in this case, only when A and B are 5 volt and 5 volt, your output is at logic 0, a strong logic 0. Rest for all other cases, the output is at strong logic 1, which is your 5 volt. Now, let us understand these waveforms one by one. Let me maximize this. Yeah. So I told you whenever the clock is 0, it is in the pre-charge phase, and the clock is 1, it is in the evaluate phases. So we have a pre-charge, evaluate, pre-charge, evaluate, pre-charge, evaluate, and pre-charge. So now let us say that the A and B is changing in this fashion, and output will correspondingly respond to those changes. So over here we have the pre-charge phase first. So first scenario, A is 0, B is 0. Remember, it's a NAND gate, so the output should be 1. So indeed the output is logic 1 over here. Next phase is the A in the pre-charge phase itself. Now remember, when in the pre-charge phase, irrespective of the A and B input combination, the output will remain logic 1 throughout the pre-charge phase. So as you can see, irrespective of the input combination, either it is 0, 1 or 1, 0 or 1, 1 and 1, your output is at VDD level, that is at logic 1 level. Now, let's come to evaluate phase. So this is your evaluate phase. So during the evaluate phase, A and B both are logic 1. So what will happen to the output? Output will be logic 0 because it's a NAND gate. Okay. So when both the inputs are 1, only then the output will be logic 0. Next, we again come back to the pre-charge phase. So irrespective of the combination of the inputs over here, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, right? Your output will stay at 5 volts. Output will stay at logic 1 or VDD level. Now let's come to again to evaluate phase. So evaluate phase, again the clock is 1. Here the input is A is 0 and B is 1. So your output will be logic 1, obviously. And next phase we have A and B both as 1 and 1. So the output will be logic 0 as per the NAND operation. Next, we again go into the pre-charge phase. So during the entire cycle of your pre-charge, your output will continue to remain high irrespective of the A and B status. Then we again come back to very crucial evaluate stage. Here, what happens? Something different happens. So here the A input is 1 and the B input is 0. So your output will be 1, obviously. Then in the next scenario, we have A as 1 and B also has 1. So whenever A and B are 1 and 1, your output will go to logic 0. Okay. And now when the A becomes 0 and B becomes logic 1, output should be 1, but here it is 0. Here output should be 1, here it is 0. Why so? We have, you remember, we have written one statement. What is that statement? During the evaluation phase, once the output is discharged, it cannot be charged again. It can be charged again until the next pre-charge operation. So over here, what has happened is, due to the combination, this is your pre-evaluate phase, okay? So over here, for the first case, we have 1 and 0. So output is 1. Now it has input combination has become 1 and 1. So output has become 0. Now for the other input combination 0 and 1, output should be at logic 1, but it is at 0. Why? Because during the evaluation phase, once the input goes to, once the output goes to the ground level or the logic 0, it cannot be charged again during the same phase. It has to wait for it for the pre-charge phase. That is why for this unique situation, whenever A is 0, B is 1, output is indeed 1. Indeed 0 actually, logic 0 instead of 1. So this is the flaw of your dynamic CMOS logic. So this we have to tackle it. Now let me quickly show you the LT-SPICE version of it, LT-SPICE simulation of the same. So this is my dynamic CMOS logic. As you can see very clearly, we have A and B as the pull down network. We have the MP transistor as the pull up network, and we have the MN transistor as the MN transistor over here. Okay, and at the output we have connected a load capacitor of 10 picofarad, and we have connected the clock whose specifications are given over here. 0 to 5 time delay of 5 millisecond, rise time fall time is 10 picosecond, on time is 5 millisecond, and on time is around 1 millisecond for a period of 10 for a period of cycles of 10. Then these are the specifications for B, input B, and these are the specifications of input A. Okay, so over here we have applied VDD as 5 volt. Okay, and we have also defined the dot model statement for both the NMOS and the PMOS transistors, and we have given the transient time of 35 milliseconds. So let me run this dynamic CMOS logic for a 2-input NAND gate and check its output. So first I will have to divide it into planes for plotting clock A, B, and output. So first will come the clock. Okay, so here comes the clock. Okay, this is the clock. Next will be A and B. This is A, and next will be B. Next will be the output. So this should give us the NAND gate operation. So let us quickly see that. So over here we have, let me just trace mark the output over here. Okay, so here this logic produces a strong logic 1 and strong logic 0. There is no doubt about it. So for the first case we have over here as clock is 0. So whenever the clock is 0, the output is logic 1 irrespective of the inputs. Next phase we have evaluate phase when the clock is 1. This time around the A and B both are 1. So your output will be logic 0. Next phase we have again has clock as 0. So irrespective of the inputs, your output will be 1. In the next phase, we have A as clock as 1. That is, we have entered the evaluate phase, and we have VA as 0 and VB as 1. So the output will be 1. And during the next phase, we have VA and VB both at 5 volt. Then also the output will be at 0 volt. Okay, this is during the evaluation phase. And during the pre-charge phase, as soon as we end the pre-charge phase, the output jumps to VDD level. Okay, and then again, well, delicately go to the evaluate phase. So over here we have entered the evaluate phase when the clock is 1. Your VA is 5 volt, VB is 0 volt. So your output has to be 5 volt. That is the classic NAND gate operation. Then again we are in the evaluate phase, logic 1, that is 5 volt applied. Your VA become 5 VA has become 5 volt, and VB has also become 5 volt. So what will happen during this phase? The output will drop to 0 as per the NAND operation. Now something interesting happens. The clock is 1. We are in the evaluation phase. Already the output has gone to 0 once. It has discharged to 0 once. Now the VA becomes 0 and VB remains at 5 volt. According to the NAND operation, this interval should be logic high, but it is not logic high. Why? Because of one statement which we have written over here, that during the evaluation phase, once the output F is discharged, it cannot be charged again until the next pre-charge period. So over here, just in the evaluation phase, your output has gone to 0 once. It cannot go again back to VDD during the evaluation phase. That can only happen during the next pre-charge phase. So these waveforms were exactly inconsistent with what we have shown in the OneNote PDF. Let me show it to you. And here in the entire output, we are getting a strong logic 0 and a strong logic 1. As you can see, for 0, we are getting 113 nanovolt, which is as good as 0 volt. Okay, let me show you the PDF now, the waveforms. So these waveforms which are shown over here are exactly the same. In fact, I've drawn that from their reference. Okay, so these waveforms over here and these waveforms over here are one and the same. Okay, you all can check it out. This is the clock, VA, VB, and output. Okay, and we have to explain that one special condition. So that one special condition I marked in purple color. Okay, whereas the pre-charge ones are marked with the gray color, and the evaluate ones are marked in pink color, the ones and zeros. Okay, and one in purple color is the special case. Fine. So this was all about the, whenever someone asks you to implement any gate, that is, let's say a NAND gate using dynamic CMOS logic, you have to explain the pre-charge and the evaluate phase. just as we have done over here. Draw the basic structure, write down the transistor count, and if they ask you to draw the precharge and the evaluation phases in terms of clock and the various inputs A and B and output F, we have to plot it in this fashion. Okay, this can be even be drawn on a normal paper. No need to take a special graph paper also. Okay, so it's a very good practice to answer such type of question for 10 marks. And the advantage of this dynamic CMOS logic is that the static power dissipation is almost non-existent, and we get a strong logic 0 and a strong logic 1 at the output, which is very, very good for us. But only thing is it requires 2 more extra transistors year over year. The transistor count over here is 4. Okay, so this is all about the transistor level implementation of your 2-input NAND gate using dynamic CMOS logic. We have explained the circuit using conceptually over here during the pre-charge phase and the evaluation phase, and we have also done the LT-SPICE simulation, and we have checked it out, and we got this waveforms which are confirming the behavior of your NAND operation using dynamic CMOS logic. So that will be all for today. Next time we'll start with some other topic. Until then, have a good day and thank you.